everybody, back with my season 1 wrap up for Once Upon a Time. I had a great time with the show. I think everything that they did with introducing so many Disney characters was really well done. It really just wove itself together really nicely. All of the main characters I really care about. Emma, with her relationship with Henry, is very special to me. I think Mr. Gold and Rumpelstiltskin, as well as Regina, the Evil Queen, I think they are just a fantastic villain duo, even though they're not on the same team, but they bring so much to the table. They're very layered, and while I do consider them the villains of the show, I do have I want them to do good. I feel like that's possible in them. So I don't feel like they're just evil. But when they do bring the evil, they do it really well. So I going forward, I can't wait to see what they bring to the table with that. All of the ancillary characters of just random little Disney characters they picked out to play a role in this show is just really awesome. From Pinocchio to Belle to Cinderella, there's just so many, and it works really well. And there's so many more to even potentially draw from. Disney's got a huge catalog, so I can't wait to see what they do going forward with that. The season as a whole kept me really interested with keeping some things secret and then slowly revealing those. That worked really well. Particularly August. I had no idea that he was Pinocchio the whole time. I was completely wrong with him being Henry, but I really like that. I think the structure of going into the show, I really just, I knew it was fairy tale characters, but I had no idea about how it's basically two realities that you're dealing with. And for a while there, it was confusing keeping up with which character was which character and when one timeline was versus the other. I think I'm got a good grasp on it now, but it's really cool how they set that up. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do going forward, because that whole structure has kind of been broken with the curse being broken. So with the magic coming to Storybrooke, it seems like Storybrooke is going to continue being a place. They're not just going to go back to the Enchanted Forest. So, and I'm actually really happy that they are potentially going to stay in Storybrooke to keep that parallel storyline going, is because if I had to choose between which story I prefer between the Enchanted Forest and the Storybrooke, I think I would choose Storybrooke. I find the versions of themselves to be, I don't get me wrong, I love the Enchanted Forest story, and it's all very Disney and great, but them just as regular people characters is intriguing to me. So I am glad potentially that Storybrooke is still very much a thing. That I might be wrong about that, I don't know, but just it seemed like with the magic coming there and they're all still there, they didn't just immediately go back to the Enchanted Forest. So it seems to me that's the way it's going to be. So we'll see. Okay, so now on to my favorite episodes of the season. I will emphasize favorite, not necessarily the best. So these are just my favorite. So super subjective. Number 5, I feel like I could have had a few here, but I ultimately went with episode 7, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. We lost Graham. It was kind of the first time the show was like, oh yeah, we're gonna break your heart. And it did. I really liked Graham, but his story was really interesting, and it made sense in the scope of the show that would happen, that he would die, because it really raised the stakes with just how far Regina's willing to go. It was also the episode we find out, or I find out, I feel like I'm probably the only one who found this out, but that Regina was Snow White's stepmother, it got me, like, I was shocked. But thinking back, I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have known that just based on the original story. But like, I haven't seen any of the Disney movies in forever. So, and it was like already episode 7, so I just wasn't, I felt like that would have already been said, that was her stepmother. So it surprised me, and it did. So yeah, like, so early on to have such an emotional episode, like, it stuck with me. Number 4, I have The Stable Boy. Really was the episode that answered my most wondered question of the season, being what was the reason that Regina hated Snow White so much. And while it wasn't necessarily a surprise that it was because Snow was responsible for the death of someone that she loved, it was surprising of just how it came about. Obviously, the fact that Snow White was a child when it happened was so shocking to me, but then also that it was just like orchestrated from the beginning by Regina's mom, who still sucks. It also almost explains why more so that Regina became the way she did, because Snow White was technically the reason it happened. Like, it was all the doing of her mom. So that gave Regina a lot of depth for not just being evil for evil's sake. Like, she's got a lot of reasoning behind it, and that doesn't necessarily justify her actions. It gives her a place of, I can have like a place of empathy for her going forward, hoping, like, I want Regina to eventually become a better person, but we'll see. I really liked Little Snow. I thought that was fantastic casting. And it just was a really satisfying story of the real, like, the genesis of this whole, the reason the show exists, the whole reason the curse exists, because of this thing that happened. So, really good episode. Oh, and lest we not forget, at the end of the episode, Catherine came back, and that just, like, shook everything up, because I really didn't know how Mary Margaret was going to get out of that. And I totally believe that Catherine was dead, since, you know, the heart matched. But that was a great twist reveal, and I was so shocked. So yeah, that episode was really good. Number 3, I have Skin Deep. Really, really good episode. I mean, if you would have told me before that episode aired that I would ship Rumpelstiltskin with anyone, much less Belle from Beauty and the Beast, I would have been not believing you. But that episode, wow. Like, I just was all in on him being with Belle like that. They just had such an obvious love for each other, and I just loved it so much. And having Rumpelstiltskin be the beast of the Beauty and the Beast story, it just worked so well. That was just so clever. And I love Emily de Ravin, so having her be Belle really worked for me. It was also the episode where we found out for sure that Regina and Rumpelstiltskin knew that they were in the cursed reality in Storybrooke. That scene with them when he was in the jail cell and she got him to say that he was Rumpelstiltskin was so good. Great, great scene. So overall, like, Skin Deep was great. Number 2, I almost put this as number 1. Even right now, I want to put it in number 1, but number 2 for me is Dreamy. I doubt it's probably one of the most highly rated episodes, and it was such a just like a small contained episode, but I loved it so much. Grumpy is one of my favorite ancillary characters, probably my favorite ancillary character. He gives me so much joy, even in his grumpiness, but to see him not starting out as grumpy, as being dreamy. Like, his relationship with Nova was so beautiful. I still want them to work it out. I thought the Storybrooks storyline in that episode was great. Like, him coming through with those candles, loved it so much. Like, I think I even had a little tear going in that episode. Like, it got me. I love them so much, and I hope we see more of them. Like, they're not, they're never going to be the main plot of the show, but it was just the sweetest episode. I adored every second of it, and I want them to figure it out. He came from an egg. That was the most ridiculous part, but I don't even mind it. Like, that episode was the cutest, and it is definitely so close to being my favorite. It might be my favorite, I don't know. But number one, who I actually have as my number one, I'm saying, is the finale, A Land Without Magic. So good. Like, it really was the culmination of the 21 episodes before it. Henry's death, like, I was devastated. And, stepping back from it, you're like, okay, yeah, of course they're not going to kill Henry. A, it's a network show. B, it's a child. C, like, they had set up the fact that, it seemed like Snow had died too when she ate the apple in Enchanted Forest. But I wasn't thinking of any of that. I was just like, there is Henry on that hospital bed, and he is dead, and I am devastated. Like, that was so intense. Like, I can't even describe how much that hurt me. Like, I know I like bawled like a baby, but like, it hurt. It really did. Then we had Emma defeating the dragon Maleficent, mirrored with her, with Charming fighting her in the Enchanted Forest. I thought that was all done really well. Regina and Emma actually having to team up to save Henry was great. Mr. Gold double crossing them. I am still upset about that. That could have been what saved Henry, but thankfully, true love's kiss of a mother to a son. Like I told you guys, like, I have a son. Like that was beautiful. So beautiful. I'm so glad that's how the curse got broken. Then we had Rumpelstiltskin finding out Belle is really still alive and has been there this whole time. But on the other hand, he's still super concerned about power, and now there's magic there. So going into season 2, that's just, man, I'm so jazzed to get into season 2 just because of how it ended. So my top 5. Let me know what you guys' top 5 are. I'm sure they're different from mine. Let me know why. But yeah, those were mine. Okay, so on to the Q&A. Firstly, Heidi, who is one of my patrons, she asks, which storyline throughout season 1 did I like the most? Either major storyline or shorter storyline. I really like what they did with August. He showed up pretty early on, and I really had no idea who he was for the longest. I had my theory, but the way it not only was him being Pinocchio, that storyline with he was actually sent with Emma, that was cool. Like, I would have never guessed that. I think the way they did that storyline and kept it going for so long, and it still ended up paying off and working, I really like that. She also asked, which moment throughout season 1 did you feel was the most emotional moment for you? I have a pretty good idea of your answer, but I'm curious if I'm right. It's Henry's death. Like, I still think about that. Like, it's been days, but it got me. I don't know if I've ever reacted so strongly. Like, even like editing back, like, I would cry. Like, I was shocked at my reaction, even though I care about Henry so much. I love that little boy. You know, and TV show children don't always work out. A lot of the time they can be whiny and annoying, and you're just like, no, we're here for the adults. But Henry, I loved from the beginning, and that never changed. Like, he is the sweetest, and he is maybe my favorite character. Like, I love Henry, and so just seeing him on that hospital bed, like, that will stay with me for a long time. And it didn't feel cheap. I don't feel like it was a cheap thing to do, to like kill him and then have him come back, because it resonated. It made sense with the storyline. So, and I don't feel like my tears were cheapened by him immediately coming back. Like, it worked so well, and I'm so thankful he's fine. But I was the absolute most emotional in that moment. So yeah, that. Okay, next up is XOXO. They asked, what's been your favorite episode so far? Well, I just did my ranking, and A Land Without Magic was number 1. But I will shout out another episode just because you asked. I'll say I really had an affinity for Snow Falls, just because it set up the Snow White Prince Charming story, and I really liked their relationship, and I'm so glad that I liked the Snow White Prince Charming relationship, because it's so integral to the show that if I hadn't liked it, I would have been worried going forward. But they were adorable from the jump. It was the 3rd episode. I was like, okay, good. I can fully commit. Like, I really like that couple, and they were very cute together. And though the storybook versions of themselves had some ups and downs, I always was very into Snow White and Charming. So next up is Little Miss Chris. She asked, what fairy tale character are you hoping will come into the show eventually? Probably my favorite Disney princess is Mulan. I'm really excited for the live action one that's coming out, and to be honest, I've not really been into the live action Disney movies they've done, but that one looks really good. She's such a strong female character, and I'm all about that. So Mulan. It would probably be cool to see Alice, just because we've seen Wonderland and we've seen the Mad Hatter. Shout out Sebastian Stan. So that would be cool. Ariel maybe. So yeah, there's a ton to choose from, and I don't know if they ever show up, but I'd be excited about those. Okay, next is Allie A. They asked, what characters do you want to come back in season 2? Well, I hope everybody that's still alive comes back. I'm hoping no one goes away. I mean, I would love if Graham was able to come back in some way, but, you know, we got him in the finale, and that was a nice little callback, so I'm okay if he doesn't ever. But, I mean, the people I need to be back are, you know, Emma and Henry and Rumpelstiltskin and the Evil Queen and, you know, the big players, Prince Charming, Snow White. I need Grumpy. I need him. And also, by extension, Nova, I need her as well. Like, I need that to resolve. I need it to be happy. So, yeah. But I'm hoping everyone comes back. The next one is from Emily. She asked, how are you such a good YouTuber? And she is insanely biased, because she is my best friend. She does the X-Files reactions with me. So, I'm a mediocre YouTuber at best, but thank you, best friend. Okay, next one is Esther Videos. She asked, who is your favorite and least favorite character so far? I think my favorite is Henry. I definitely care the most about him. Like, I need him safe at all times. I think he's such a sweetheart. He makes the show go, you know, him with his book, pleading with these Storybrooke characters to know who they are, and he just believes so wholeheartedly, and it's so pure and wholesome, and I love him. Least favorite? You know, you know, Mr. Gold and Regina are the villains, but I still like them as characters. They're really good characters. So, is there anybody I just hate? Regina's mom. Terrible. She sucks. The worst. Ugh. The worst. I mean, I felt bad for Regina for having her as a mom. So, yeah, she's the worst. I hate her. Okay, next up is Theodore Mansfield. He asked, who are some other fairy tale characters you want to see show up? Let's see, I said the ones that I said. Who else do I like? That's Disney. Oh, you know, one of my favorites was, and I know they can't be foxes, but Maid Marian and Robin Hood. Like the fox cartoon version is just one of my all-time favorites. But if they did like a live action Robin Hood and Maid Marian, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that. Next up is Mr. Reali LP, or Mr. Really LP, one of those. He asked, who are your favorite characters and who do you like the least? I answered above, Henry with my favorite. I also really love Emma. Like, I think she's like a super strong female character, and I love that. I really like most of them, so, and least, definitely Regina's mom. That dude, that shitty dude that wanted Rumpelstiltskin to kiss his boot or whatever, he sucked. So add that one to the list. Okay, next is Ryuga Law. Sorry if I screwed that up. They asked how many plot holes did I find and what are they if I did. I don't know if I did find any. Everything kind of worked and made sense for me. But do you know of any? If you do, you can let me know. Yeah, I was pretty happy with, nothing made me go like, what the fuck, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, let me know if you know of any, because I don't. Next is the girly nerd. Who my favorite characters are. I've gone over those. What has been your favorite aspect of the show thus far? I would just say how the structure works. The parallels that you have with the Storybrooke characters weaving into the Enchanted Forest, and it works so well, and it's such a good premise for a show, so it definitely keeps things interesting. So I would say that. Which moments had the greatest emotional response for you? Yeah, Henry, like, with a bullet. Like, nothing even touches it. Graham's death was pretty rough, but nothing was bad as Henry. Nothing. So, which characters do you hope to see more of or pop up on the show? Well, I would love to see more Jefferson. I am completely biased in saying that, as I am a Sebastian Stan. But, yeah, so, but, you know, not just because he's Sebastian Stan, like, Jefferson's a pretty interesting character, and I hope he gets reunited with Grace, so. Next is Roxas13. Roxas13. What do you think about Regina's mother, Cora, and her father, Henry? Cora sucks ass. I hate her so much. I mean, I guess her character allowed me to have some empathy for Regina, so that was good, but everything she did was terrible. Terrible. The way she treated Regina when Regina was just a sweet girl with a stable boy lover. Totally manipulated that whole situation and got us into where we're at. So, hate Cora. Henry, like, I felt bad for him that Regina took his heart and he just seemed to, like, love his daughter. But I didn't really get a sense of him as a character. So, next is Angela Luckdy. She's asked if I'll do a reaction to Human UK. I have a list of shows that I'm thinking about doing. That's not really one of them. But maybe someday. Never say never, but it's not one of the few that I'm thinking about. Next up is Audrey Makes Videos. She asked if I could react to Lost. I wish I could, but I've seen it. I watched it when it aired, every episode. One of my favorite shows of all time. Like, I can understand why you want me to watch it, but I have seen it. Okay, so I think that's everyone. I hope I got to you. If I didn't, let me know. I think I got everybody though. Okay, so lastly, just a little bit of a predictions for next season. So first one, I'm gonna say either Rumpelstiltskin or the Evil Queen will have some sort of redemption. Probably not both, but maybe one of them will be like, okay, I gotta stop these evil ways. I'm hoping, because I do love both of them, even though their choices make me very upset. And I do see them both as villains because they haven't really even tried to redeem themselves. So, you know, I've gotten the sense from some comments that Regina is very well liked, and I do like her as a character. I don't agree with her. And while I understand she's had some bad things happen to her, her actions have not been redeemed. So she's not someone I consider a good person yet. But I'm completely willing to have either one of them be redeemed. So we'll see. Next prediction is going to be that Emma gets a love interest. I don't know for sure, but I had a sense that Graham was supposed to stick around longer, and maybe because it was Jamie Dornan, he had to leave. I mean, that may have been planned the whole time, but I was actually surprised she never got another love interest. So I'm going to say she gets one, because everyone else is an established Disney character and they kind of have somebody already. Like with Snow and Prince Charming and Cinderella and you know, all them. Like they already, you know, half of the people set out for them. But, you know, Emma's this brand new character. So I imagine she's going to get a love interest next season. My next prediction is probably just a given that we're going to see many more Disney characters show up. Let's see. Let me just throw one out there to see so I can say at the end of the season whether I got it or not. Jasmine? Jasmine. We'll go with Jasmine. So that's prediction number 3. And my last prediction is that Henry is going to be safe and never get in the situation he was again. And it's not so much of a prediction as it is a plea to never do that to me again. So Henry will be fine. Henry will be safe in season 2. Okay. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate all your guys' support. It really keeps me going. And you know, all of my feedback has been pretty great. You guys have been awesome. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to get to season 2. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.